Hi, everybody. This is Saad for the Sad Truth. A few years ago, I wrote a Psychology Today article wherein I summarized the work of some academics who had explored the political affiliation of professors at a bunch of universities in California in terms of whether they were Democrats or Republicans. And they had found that I think the ratio was 5 to 1 Democrats across disciplines. And then, of course, depending on the discipline, that ratio changed. So, for example, in something like sociology, if I remember correctly, it was 44 to 1, the ratio. Whereas in other fields, in business, then the ratios would be, more even. And when I shared originally that article, some people wrote back and said, well, look, what's so surprising about this? Academics are smart, they're intelligent, they're educated, and therefore, of course, they're going to be affiliated with truth, with reason, with what makes sense. Only, Hicks, toothless Hicks from Arkansas, who deny evolution, could ever support Republicans. Now, again, as I share with you today's clip, I'll remind you that I'm Canadian. I don't vote in American elections. I'm not vested. I don't have a dog in the fight. But I do try to fight bad ideas and bad positions wherever I come across them, whether it be fighting postmodernism or radical feminism or social constructivism or religious theocracy. I have a small platform from which to share my ideas, and I do so. So when it comes to this issue of intellectual diversity on campus, it is a problem when somebody takes the position that, of course, Democrats are right, Republicans are all, uh, chimps who are illiterate, and therefore, of course, professors are going to support the Democrats. Uh, the arrogance and the snobbery of such a position coming from academics is simply breathtaking. There are many issues on which uh, very reasonable, educated, and smart people could disagree when it comes to political matters. What should be the appropriate fiscal policy? Uh, are you for or against affirmative action? Uh, what should our foreign policy look like? These are things that are not as veridical as a scientific fact, such as whether evolution is correct or not. Very reasonable, educated, and smart people can disagree on these issues. Now, let's take this exact bent of, well, of course, you should support Democrats if you're smart, and of course, you'll support Republicans if you are lobotomized, toothless hick, to the current Trump versus Clinton debate. The exact same arguments are being made. Now, again, I hardly think that Trump is a good candidate. So people wrongly presume that the positions I take imply that I sit at home listening to Barry White music while looking into the eyes of Donald Trump on my poster on my bedroom. That's not the point. The point is that when I sit and look at the Facebook postings of otherwise educated people, I'm astonished at the way they pathologize anybody who might hold a position that is contrary to theirs, right? I mean, endless posts that talk about, what kind of psychopath would support Donald Trump? What kind of, you know, heartless monster would support Donald Trump? I mean, any clear thinking person would have to support Hillary Clinton. I mean, you must be some evil, diabolical maniac, a rape enabler to support Donald Trump. Now, this is coming from educated people. This is coming, in many cases, from professors. Now, try to extrapolate here and put yourself in the position of a young undergraduate student in university. Now, you're well aware of the zeitgeist on campus. You know whether your professors and most of the students that walk around you support Republicans or Democrats, support Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump. By the way, this type of antipathy that is felt to Donald Trump, while it certainly might be greater now than it was for previous Republican candidates, it's not as though a similar phenomenon has not happened in the past. I have a long enough memory to to remember very similar strategies and words used when Mitt Romney ran for president. So, but in any case, so I'm a young undergraduate student and I'm sitting in a class discussion. Now, am I going to voice my true position if I support Trump, if I support Republicans? Or is it better for me to keep my mouth shut because it might simply be too costly for me to air out my opinion? Do we want universities and other arenas of public discourse to be places where most people would rather self-censor rather than propose a position that otherwise would make them rape enablers, monsters, psychopaths, people with stone hearts? Is this the type of discourse that academics should be promulgating when they are weighing in with their positions? Incidentally, many of the people who proclaim that only psychopaths and maniacs could support Donald Trump are perfectly silent about those who should support Sharia law. So therefore, supporting Donald Trump is indicative of you being a truly diabolical psychopath. But you know, when it comes to Sharia, well, we're quiet about that. We're too busy posting things about how evil Donald Trump is. So when I take these positions, it's usually to point out hypocrisy, to point out intellectual dishonesty, to point out the fact that intellectuals should be in the business of encouraging dialogue and debate. And many, many times people disagree with me, but they do it in a very polite, reasoned way that gets me thinking, right? It does no one a service, and certainly not an impressionable undergraduate, to know that if he or she were to ever espouse a position such as openly supporting Donald Trump, then he or she might be taken to a mental asylum because only crazy people would support Donald Trump. I hope that I've given you some food for thought and given you a bit of a better sense of why I take the positions that I do when it comes to Donald Trump. Again, I am hardly a supporter of Donald Trump. I think both candidates are disastrous. But what I'd like to see is a change in the manner by which people engage in discourse. Maybe it's too lofty of a goal, but this is my small attempt to do so. Hope you're having a good day. Talk to you soon.